to you about compound sentences. So when you think about the word compound, it reminds me of compound words. Now when we're talking about compound words, you have two independent words that could be words on their own, and then you end up putting them together to make a new word. For example, you have the word rainbow. If I break this compound word up, I have two words. I have rain, which is its own word, and bow, which is its own word. So when you combine or compound or make compound sentences, you're combining two to put together into one. So we do the same idea with compound sentences. And instead of two words, you have two independent clauses. Everybody say independent. So when we're talking about independent, that means that it is a sentence that can stand on its own. It is a sentence by itself. It doesn't need anything else. Nothing's missing. Independent. It's a sentence on its own. And when we label independent clauses, we label them with a capital I. Everybody say I. So for example, Jacob was running to the store. I want to ask myself, is that an independent clause? Can it stand on its own? Jacob is my subject. We know what Jacob was doing. He was running. And we finished our thought. He's running to the store. So I would label this with an I. It's independent. If I had another simple sentence, he needed to grab dinner. If I'm trying to decide if that's a simple sentence or independent clause, I would check it again. Does it have a subject? He is my subject. Even though it's a pronoun, I know they're talking about Jacob. He is still a person. It's a subject. And we know what he's doing, which is the verb, and we finished our thought. He needed to grab dinner. So we have two independent clauses here. Okay? But whenever you're making a compound sentence, you can't just put them together with nothing between them. They need something to connect them, something to make them stick together. So when you have compound sentences, we actually use a formula, just like you use a formula in math. Our formula is two I's, which I'm getting those from here, a nose, or a comma, and a mouth. Now our mouth is something that represents fanboys. Everybody say fanboys. Okay? Show me in the air if you have, from 1 to 5, show me if you have any background knowledge on what fanboys are. So if you have none, you'd be a 1. If you know what they are, you know how they're used, you'd be a 5. Okay, 1 through 5. Show me in the air. So this is our formula for compound sentences. It makes a little smiley face. It's happy that it's compound. Okay, compound sentences must have, as you can see, two independent clauses. It must have a comma, or, in our face, a nose. And it must have fanboys. Now, fanboys actually have a fancy name, and that's coordinating conjunctions. Everyone say coordinating. And we label our coordinating conjunctions with a smile to match our smiley face over here. Okay, and our coordinating conjunctions are only, everybody say only, fanboys. There are no others. So our fanboys stand for, repeat them after me, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Those are our fanboys. So the thing that's going to stick these two sentences together are our comma and our fanboy. You only would pick one. Okay, so let's try this out now. I'm going to use my same sentences Jacob was running to the store. He needed to grab dinner. Notice I have not punctuated my sentence yet because I want to make sure I'm using it as a compound sentence or creating a compound sentence. Okay? Jacob was running to the store. We've already decided that was an independent clause. He needed to grab dinner. Also an independent clause. So I have two eyes, and now I'm missing a nose. On your own face, from the top, your nose comes before your mouth. So my nose, or my comma, would come here. Okay, then I need a fan boy. That's what I'm missing. So I have a nose, I need a mouth. I have a mouth to finish my smile. I would pick which one goes correctly. I can't just randomly choose because each of these fan boys have their own meaning. And if you watch the vocabulary video, you'll learn the meaning of all of them. So if I'm going to say Jacob was running to the store, I can't say, yes, he needed to grab dinner. I would have to choose one that would go with it. So instead, I'm going to choose and for today. So Jacob was running to the store, comma, and he needed to grab dinner. I have to have terminal punctuation as well. So I'm going to add to my smile, or to my face, my fan boy, which I chose and. I'm going to label it with my smile and circle my comma. So I have two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. So I have a happy compound sentence. So now let's try it where my sentence needs something. I'm going to use the same sentence. And I'm going to label it to see if it's correct or not. Jacob was running to the store. I have a subject, a verb, and I completed a thought. Okay, I'm going to circle my comma, smiley my and, or make a smiley in the air. And then I'm going to check this clause here. Needed to grab dinner. So let me start over here. I have an eye, I have a nose, I have a mouth. Needed to grab dinner. Well, I don't know who needed to grab dinner. I'm missing something there. I'm missing a subject. So if a sentence is missing something, we call that a dependent clause. It's depending on something else to finish it, and we label that with a capital D. So just to reiterate, independent clauses are with an I, dependent clauses are with a capital D. So this one is not quite an independent clause. So I don't have a compound sentence. I'm missing an I over here. So I could add my subject here, he. Well, now I know who needed to grab dinner, and I can add my other I, and now I've created a compound sentence. Your formulas are there to help you make sure you're punctuating and writing compound sentences correctly. So let's say I want to write my compound sentence a different way. I already know I can stick my two I's together with a comma and a fan voice. But there is one other way that I can do it. These are interchangeable. I can use this cute little punctuation mark called a semicolon. Here's a semicolon. What does semi mean? Okay, semi meaning part. So it's part of a colon. And a colon usually looks like this and is used for a different purpose. This, notice, only has one dot, so it's a semicolon. Now our formula for semicolons are the same, except for taking out the comma and fan voice. So I still have two eyes, I have a nose, and a little mouth. And this smiley kind of looks like that cat emoji that's smirking a little, so it's still a face, in my opinion. Okay, so now I'm going to use my same sentence to show you how to use semicolons. Jacob was running to the store. I'm going to keep my punctuation out of it for now. He needed to grab something for dinner. Jacob was running to the store. Always check your clauses. Okay, that's an independent clause. He needed to grab something for dinner. Independent clause. I have two I's. What am I missing? A semicolon. So I would just put that right here. It kind of looks like a little J. Okay? So I can either use comma, fanboy, or a semicolon. You don't use them together. If I'm using a semicolon, I don't use one of my fanboys. Okay? But if I use a comma, I have to use my fanboys. So, one more time, and I want you to write these down with me. I have two formulas for compound sentences. 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, or a fanboy. Or, I have 2 eyes, a nose, semicolon. Okay? Now, every time we work on sentence types, or when we're reading or writing and looking for these, I want you to label your sentences, because that's how we're going to use our formulas. So what I did here and what I did here are things you would actually do to check yourself. Now that you've heard what to do and you understand compound sentences a little better, I want you to go into your vocabulary study and fill that out using what you just learned.